Now, here's another one about a guy who learns the hard way, whether he realizes it or not. What happens when you give a gal too much certainty and she thinks you're not going anywhere? She has you, combined with the fact that she's a very selfish individual. Title: My fiancé is showing real weird signs after 5 years of being together. These are some of the out of blue red flags in my opinion, and I wanted to get some outside input on these situations to see if I'm being overly sensitive. He says here, so we got engaged and bought a house in 2022. Things were going okay, really, in terms or no issues. So they get engaged, they bought a house, a sign of serious commitment that he isn't going anywhere. Now watch this. But recently, this year, she's been going on about how her friend's partner buys her all these expensive designer bags and goes on about how he can even afford them. And she wishes that she had them. Okay, Miss Golddigger, how about you get a job? How about you have a career? How about you make something to yourself that you can go buy yourself some of these on occasion instead of me? The way she's wording it, though, and voicing it feels like she's saying, why don't you buy me things like that? Well, that's what she's doing, dude. I've asked her why she brings it up all the time and acts disappointed, and she said that she's because she likes them. I said, well, you're not going to get that from me because we have a lot more to pay for saving up for a wedding next year. She's mentioned it at least every week since the start of the year, and my response is always the same. So already, she wants more and more and more. Handbags, a bunch of crap. She's a gold digger. Right here. She's been hiding her true colors until she got that engagement ring at house, thinks you're not going anywhere, and now she wants more and more and more. It will be impossible for a guy like this, who's obviously bought the house, obviously sounds like he's planning things, is sensible with money, to have a life where he can build wealth with someone like this. And what is she doing for him? What is she bringing to the table? Then she says she's joining a brides-to-be group on Facebook and starts going on how big their diamonds are on the ring, again seemingly being passive-aggressive on how small hers is. Even though it's a 0.8 with a halo, which equates to a total weight of 1, which wouldn't mind was a hefty price. Then when I mentioned that her ring was all I could afford, she was like, yeah, well, they look stupid that big anyway. Obviously just trying to deflect. Take the ring back, cut your losses and move on. This is a bad situation. Also, we said that we weren't going to do any cards or anything for Valentine's Day, and she came home with a printed one from Paint. I'm not bothered by that, but she was like, where's my card? So I explained that we weren't doing cards like we said so I didn't get one. I did actually get her a card, but was just having a joke with her, as we do sometimes. But she instantly got in a mood and wouldn't talk to me. Again, who does she think she is? Obviously, this guy, I'm guaranteeing you this guy put her on a pedestal, made her feel like the queen. She's settling for this guy, and she thinks she's so high and mighty. But again, what does she bring to the table? The only thing she's bringing to the table is bringing stress to this guy and drama, which he doesn't need. Anyway, I went upstairs to get her card and give it to her, and she changed her tune. I cooked her a 3-course meal, went to the shop and bought her some drinks because she wanted something else to drink, and near the end of the night, she was like, go and do a cup of tea. So I said, no, you go and do it, and she had a big hissy fit over it. He does all that, and she can't make him a freaking cup of tea. I then said, I dropped you at a faraway train station this morning because your train was canceled. Picked you up afterwards from the train station, cooked you a 3-course meal, went to the shop and got what you wanted, and you can't even get up and make us both a cup of tea. She was like, oh yeah, fine, I will do it. But then changed the subject. I went to sleep and realized she didn't make me the cup of tea. She's a selfish a-hole. This guy's a giver, and she's a taker. I know it's trivial, but I feel like I'm generally taken for granted, and what I'm doing is either not good enough or she just doesn't care. Like I go out of my way when she needs me, and she couldn't even make me a cup of tea on Valentine's Day, when all she gave me was some card made on Paint. Well, I'm not hearing anything about any action going on Valentine's Day from her. Now I've realized that this is going to look bad. Now I realize that I'm just looking back this past year and seeing how much I get taken for granted. Even though she says she loves me, she doesn't really show it apart from actually wanting a hug and a kiss. Pay attention to one's actions. Actions say everything. Outside of that, she doesn't actually do anything around the house or even cook. Maybe I'm being dramatic, but we put a non-refundable deposit on our wedding, which is going to cost $16,000 to $18,000 next year. And I'm just worried that in years' time, she's going to be a much different person. Since, like I said, these are out of the blue comments and actions. Dude, if you marry her, you're out of your freaking mind. Okay? Obviously, it sounded like things weren't too bad until he proposed, gave her that ring, and there's certainty that he ain't going anywhere. And he bought a house. Get rid of her. She is a taker. She's selfish. She doesn't care about him at all. A guy like this deserves someone to treat him well. But I'm guessing, because we don't know about this, that behind the scenes, obviously he wasn't the type of guy that got all the chicks in high school and college. I can just tell. She probably had her choice with guys, and this is why she behaves the way she does. And chose her nice guy to settle down with, and is trying to milk him for everything she can get out of him. You know, complaining about the rings, complaining about her friend getting handbags or purses or whatever the hell it was, and then the whole Valentine's Day thing, thinking that she's the queen. No, it's bullshit. You need to have a gal that treats you the way you treat her, that is loving and supportive, does things for you, and she'd be so happy to marry you that it wouldn't make a difference what the ring was. Okay? And yeah, there's some traditional gals that be like that. That guy needs to cut her loose. So guys, you have anybody that ever acts like this for your relationship, guys, cut them loose. And as for the money that the non-refundable deposit they put on the wedding, take the loss. And make her pay for part of it because she's part of the wedding. And just start walk away. Because otherwise, she's going to be paying way more down the road. Sometimes it's like an investment where you have an investment goes south and you realize it's never coming back. It's about to cut your losses, take the tax loss, and reinvest it and learn from it, move on. End of freaking story. It's the same thing here. I wish him luck.